Steve, let's get to your top 5, bottom 5 of the week, as everyone loves to get to.
Let's do it.
Because we got our NFL as well. Top of the world, bottom of the barrel, brought to you by BetUS. Head on over there today. Here we go, Steve.
All right, not really in order, but Friday night, Louisville, down early. They're having an emotional letdown after the Miami loss. You know what? I will give them credit. They rallied in the second half. Tyler Shuck made some throws. And Coach Brom, that's a real guy. And that's a very good-looking offense. And on a Friday night to go on the road to come off a difficult loss and to come through with that victory, I'm going to give them some credit.
Hey, Steve, before you go to 2, what happened in that game? Because I was watching they get dominated early, and this game is seemingly out of reach, and the next thing I turn up, and they're fucking winning. What happened in that game?
Well, Louisville got going. Offensively, they are very good. A set of receivers. Well, speaking of Alabama treasure that ended up being a crown jewel, their receiver, Ja'Cory Brooks, is now turning into an NFL draft choice. Didn't do much at Alabama, but he has flourished under that Brom offense. And Tyler Shuck is another guy that'll be drafted somewhere, I believe, between rounds 3 and 5. He's got a lot of measurables. 6'5", he can move a little bit. Live arm, can make all the throws. And then Isaac Brown didn't do much this game, but he's one of the faster running backs in the country. But Louisville just got going. They just hung tough, and Boston College kind of ran out of ideas late offensively. Number 2, Marcel Reed. And I got to put Mike Elko in there too. LSU is controlling the game, up by 10 halfway through the third. And Mike Elko goes back to a guy that he went to earlier. So he sends Connor Wigman to the bullpen, and out comes Marcel Reed, whose legs and athleticism just absolutely riddled LSU's defense, who is now put on their heels because of the threat at the mesh point and his ability to run around and make plays. Guys, I think Marcel Reed may have locked up the quarterback job at A&M for the time being. Big victory. A&M plays Texas later this year. That is going to have some severe playoff implications. And Mike Elko, that's a serious football coach. Number 3, my guy, Mario Cristobal, won the state title. And all I got to say is this. Look at the trajectory of the programs in Florida. Young recruits, just think about it, walks off. Love it. Did the job. Now we're on to Duke. All right, number 4, Colorado. Colorado is 6-2, and they are a structurally sound football team. They're one of the most improved teams in the country, and I like the fact that they're physically much stouter up front. And it's not just Travis Hunter. I actually think they're a pretty well-rounded unit. They're running the ball just a little bit more. Colorado, no one is talking about them in the playoff mix. Now, look, there's a couple of teams ahead of them in the Big 12 that are undefeated in Iowa State and BYU. Couple things happen. It's not out of the realm of possibility that they're in the Big 12.
Hey, K-State would have to lose too, though. See,
right? But keep this in mind. They might win 8 or 9 games. That's a damn good second year. They
can win 10. They can win 10. To be honest, they can win. I got the bye week. I got the bye week beating them this week. But I'm telling you,
is Coach Prime going to be there after this season? Though.
Yeah.
No.
I spoke with Big Matt. Big Matt said, "Yeah." He's just
okay. Well, I'll take his word for it because now
Matt has supervision goggles on, bro.
But he also has exclusive insight and information that we don't have either.
Stop.
Now, the other guy I want to mention is a backup quarterback that came in as the starter got hurt, led the Nittany Lions to 2 key drives, and his style of play with his athleticism doesn't have the arm talent of Drew Aller, but it actually fits Kotelnicki's offense a little bit more. He's more of a Jalen Daniels than Aller is. Bo Pribula. Bo, I think you might have to have a few packages come your way as you play Ohio State. The stuff that he does can disrupt a defense. But to go to the madhouse, close, tight game, you need a couple drives, and he made key throws. But again, not the thrower of the football that Aller is, but I do think, again, in terms of extending plays and at the mesh point, you have to respect what he does. All right, bottom 5. Kyle Honda McCord. The Honda McCord crashed numerous times. My God, he literally gave the game away in the first 10 minutes to Pitt. I think Narduzzi should have given him a game ball on behalf of Pitt. One of the worst quarterback games in recent memory. I think he threw 5 5 interceptions, 3 of them which went for pick sixes. Not a great look. That game was over before it even began. Disappointing loss of Fran Bound and his fellas. Kentucky just can't get going. I mean, they had a big victory a couple weeks ago, right? And then they played Georgia to the wire. They're bad. They let Auburn march in there, took an early lead, and then Jarquez Hunter kind of took over that game. I'm wondering if Mark Stoops is really happy there. There's always rumors about him wanting to leave and upgrade. It's a very, very tough job. You're a basketball school at an SEC conference, and he's probably gotten as far as he can in that program, in that particular conference. Number 3.
Dave, your basketball so-called legend left your basketball school.
Well, I agree, but Kentucky will always care more about basketball than football. That's just the way
that guy left. That guy left, so there might be a problem upper administratively.
And then 3, Navy. Navy, you had a shot to impress people, but you played more like McHale's Navy against Notre Dame. My God, 4 unforced fumbles. You couldn't catch a punt. You couldn't catch a pitch out. I thought it was embarrassing how bad you guys played on a big stage. You guys are very disciplined young men. Now you can focus in on defending the honor of our fine country. But, wow, I thought that game would be interesting. It was literally over by halftime. It's really too bad. Or Garrett Nussmeier. Now, Garrett's had a very good year, had a pretty good start to this game. The 3 turnovers killed him. And it was an example. And shout out to people at Kyle Field and the Aggies. You can make an argument that LSU is still the better team, but it's one of those special nights where a team that is good enough to make a home field advantage matter can rattle the other team and lift the team to beyond what their capabilities are normally. And Nussmeier, I thought, swung the game with an interception, and then the other stuff he did, I thought it was very unfortunate, though, because he's had a pretty good year, but 3 interceptions on the road usually is a failure, and that's what we're going to call it this week. And number 5, I got to get on James Franklin a little bit.
Yeah, I want to hear this one. I got to hear this one. Go ahead.
James, the performance you put, and I don't think it was your call, but with Penn State, there are some serious allegations involving your former players. Now, I want to make this clear. That is not your responsibility. Maybe you have to take the accountability, but what young men do in their free time, I don't think it's always the coach's fault. Now, you could have an argument about should you have brought those type of kids in. But here's the thing. Nobody thinks they're recruiting bad people. They're willing to overlook things, and you have to live with their behaviors. But at that press conference last week, to not just give a simple statement, but to say, here, in points, and a guy reads a statement out of a laptop, we here at Penn State don't want to talk about it, and we just want to direct every question to football. And he did it twice. Here's my view of it. You made it a bigger story than it should have been, because all James Franklin had to do was address it himself, saying we are aware of the allegations. It's a legal matter. We're going to respect the privacy of everyone involved and let justice prevail, and then we'll speak about it at a different, more appropriate time. The way they handled it made it a bigger story than it should have been.